Hi everyone, I'm Sajin. Today we'll be doing a stats part of SAT Maths. Okay, so as you know that out of 58 questions in total, 45 questions are MCQ based, and arithmetic maths also plays a vital role in those type of questions, right? In which we have to deal with the options. So today we'll be covering the stats part in which the subtopics of this will be arithmetic mean, median, mod, and range. So, firstly, we'll learn the basics of all these topics and then we'll move on to our questions. But as you know, in any exam that involves objective type questions, as in where there are options, in that we should know some specific approaches to solve the question is in less amount of time, right? We should know some strategies in which we can get to the correct answer in less amount of time. Okay, so we'll learn the basic conventional way as well, and we'll learn some shorter ways to get to our correct answer quickly. Okay, so as there are some specific type of questions you will see in which we can solve the question without writing anything as well, right? If we know some strategies, if we know some basic concepts, from the basic concepts only we'll get to our correct answers. We'll develop some short tricks. Okay, so firstly I'm going to start with the basic concepts. Okay, so let's move on to our first concept, that is arithmetic mean. We'll firstly see what is arithmetic mean. Okay, arithmetic mean or average, that is one and the same thing. So arithmetic mean or average is nothing but the ratio of sum of the values to number of values. Okay, now let's take an example to understand this. Now here you can see a data set in which there are some numbers. 259357 are the numbers that you can see in this data set. And how many numbers are there? In total there are 7 numbers. So if we want to find out arithmetic mean or average of a particular data set, we'll firstly add all these elements and divide it by the number of elements in that particular series. So what we'll do, we'll add 2, 5, 9, 7, 5, 4 and 3, and then divide it by the number of elements, that is 7, which will give me 5. Okay, so 5 is the arithmetic mean or average of this particular data set, right? Okay, let's move on to our next concept, that is median. Now if in brief I want to tell you what is median, median is basically the middle value of a particular given data set, right? So now let's take an example to understand this, how to find a median when a data set is given to us. Now here a data set is given where there is odd number of elements. Now here odd number of elements are here. Okay, so in this case what we will do, firstly if you have to find out median of a particular data set, you have to arrange that in a particular order. That is, you can arrange the series in ascending order or you can arrange the series in descending order, right? Then we have to find out the middle value of the series. Now in this case what did I do? Firstly I arranged this series in particular order, and then what is the middle value in this? The middle value in this is 5. So 5 is the median of this series. Okay, now let's take an example where the number of elements are even. Now here in this particular case the number of elements are even. You can see that there are 6 number of elements in this case. Now firstly we will arrange this data set, right? I'm arranging it in an ascending order, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 9, right? But the problem here is, here there is no particular middle value, right? There are 2 middle values, that is 4 and 5. So when there are even number of elements, then in that case what we will do, we will find out average of middlemost terms. Okay, So what we'll do, we'll add the middle terms, 4 plus 5, and then we'll divide it by 2. So we'll get 4.5 as the median, right? Now the examples that I took till now, the previous one also, in which there were odd number of elements, and this example as well, in this we have even number of elements. Now initially we had 5-6 elements. Now here also there are 6 elements. Now what if the examiner asks you a series in which there are more number of elements? Now we need to see that, right? Now in that case, you need to firstly find out position of the median. Now let's take an example. For example, the examiner has given you a series in which there are 100 number of elements. Now in that case, it is not feasible for a student to write all the numbers in a particular series and then find out which one is the median position, right? We cannot write 100 numbers. So what we'll do, we'll firstly find out position of median. Now how can we find out position of median? Now position of median can be found out by this formula, n plus 1 by 2. And what is n here? N is the number of elements. Number of elements in this particular series. Now, for example, in this question only, the number of elements are 6. So what I'll do, 6 plus 1 divide by 2. For this particular case, I'm saying 6 plus 1 divide by 2. That gives me 7 by 2. 7 by 2 is 3.5. Now, what do I mean by this? 3.5 means that my median will lie between third term and fourth term, right? So that means my median will be average of third term plus fourth term. For example, the number of elements are, let's say, 100. So in that case, what will I say? 100 plus 1 divided by 2, that is 101 divided by 2, that will give me 50.5. Now 50.5 means that my median will lie between 50th term and 51st term. So my median will be average of 50th term and 51st term. That will give me the median. Okay. So this formula is very helpful when the examiner gives you when the number of terms in a particular series is more, right? For example, 100 or 50, right? Then in that case, you can use this formula to find out position of median and get to your correct answer quickly. Okay. So now let's move on to our next concept. That is, okay, so mod. Now, what do you mean by mod? Mod is basically most frequently occurring number in a series. Most frequently occurring number in a series is mod, right? Now let's take the first example. Now first example is 2593547. What is mod in this case? The mod will be 5 because 5 is occurring most number of times. Okay. What will be mod in second case? 2523547. Now you can see that 2 is also occurring 2 times and 5 is also occurring 2 times. So basically here we will have 2 mods, that is 2 and 5, because both the numbers are occurring most number of times. Okay. Now I'll give you a question to answer. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Now this is a particular series, right? Now what will be mod in this case? Take your time. You can pause the video as well. Think. Okay, so in this case, is the mod 1, 2, 3? Have you got mod 1, 2, 3? Then your answer is wrong. Why? In this case, there is no mod. Why so? Because here 1 is also occurring 2 times, 2 is also occurring 2 times, and 3 is also occurring 2 times. So all the numbers are occurring same number of times. So here there will be no mod. So in a particular series, we can have 1 mod, we can have 2 mods, or we can have no mod as well. Okay. So let's move on to our next concept now. Okay. Now what is range? Now range is nothing but the difference of highest and lowest number in a set, right? So firstly, you will see what is the highest number and what is the lowest number. You will find out the difference of both of them. You will find out the range, right? Okay. Now here is a shorter way from the basics. Okay. Now this concept will help you in solving the question in less amount of time. Right? Okay, let's take an example, simple example to understand this. For example, I'm taking a series 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now, if I ask you to find out average of this particular series, what will you say? How will you find out? You will firstly add all these 5 terms, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, and then you will divide it by 5, right? So the basic approach will be 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. Then you divide it by 5. You will get 15. 15 divided by 5 will give you 3. Okay. So you have got your average as 3. This is average. Okay. Now, but here you can see that the data set is evenly spaced, right? So there is a gap of 1 between all the numbers, right? So in this case, we can come to a conclusion without doing the basic thing also. What we can say that my average will be median. So wherever you see a evenly spaced set, that is the gap between the number is same, in that case you will say that the middle value is the average. That is, average or arithmetic mean is equals to median. First point to note. The next point is, you can also find arithmetic mean or average by adding the first term and last term and dividing it by 2. That is, you will find out the average of first and last term, right? That will give you the arithmetic mean or the average, correct? So whenever a evenly spaced data is given, that is, the gap between the number is same, then you have to keep in mind that the average is equals to median and average is also equals to first term plus last term divided by 2, right? So in this case, let's take few more examples. Now in this case, what will be average? Directly my average will be 6. Okay, because 6 is the median, the middle number. So there is no need of finding it out. Now these are the shorter ways which will help you in getting to the answer quickly, right? That will save a lot of time. Now in next case, what will be my average? Now here we have no middle term exact. So median will be 5 plus 6 divided by 2. That is 5.5. So 5.5, 5 plus 6 divided by 2. 5.5 is the median in this case. Okay. So 5.5 will be median for this particular data set. Now, in the questions, you will find out that within seconds, we are able to solve these questions. But if you solve those type of questions using the basic method, it will take much more time. Now that only creates the difference between a student who is scoring a perfect 800 and a student who revolves around 700, right? Now, if you want to get a perfect 800 in SET, then you need to solve questions using some smart approaches as well. Okay, so let's move on to our next concept. Okay, so this is our first question. So we are moving on to our question part, right? So the average is given to us. If the average of 6 numbers is 29, the average of remaining number is 7. What is value of n? We don't know how many numbers are there, right? So we know that average is sum divided by number. Sum divided by number of observations. So how many numbers are there? In this case, number is n. what is average? Average is 19. Okay. Now sum will be equal to average into number. I can, from this formula, I can also say that sum is equals to average into number. Okay. So here average of 6 greatest number is 29. So it will be 29 into 6. The average of remaining number is 7. So average of remaining number. How many numbers are remaining? Now total numbers were n. So n minus 6 into 7. Now we'll solve it. 19n 29 into 6 plus 7n minus 7 into 6. Now in the calculation part also you need to be smart, right? Then only you will get to the correct answer quickly. 12n. You can take out 6 common. 29 minus 7. Now what did I do? I didn't calculate 29 into 6 or 7 into 6. I directly took common from it, right? To make my calculations easier. 12n 6 into 22. This gets cancelled. This gets cancelled. So value of n will be 11. So 11 is the correct answer in this case. All right. Hope this question would have helped you in understanding the concept of average a bit more, right? Now let's move on to our next concept. Okay, next question. Okay, so the average test score for all the students in a class is 84. The average score of M boys in the class was 79, while that of N girls was 87. What is the ratio of M to N? Okay, so let's solve this. Now, how many total average? We know average is sum divided by number. So first we will write average is sum divided by number. So what is the average here? Average is 84. How many total number of students are here? Total number of students are M plus N, right? What will be sum? Sum will be, now look, average score of M boys is 79. So sum will be 79M. And in case of girls, it will be 87N. Right? Now you can shift this M plus N here. You'll get 84M plus 84N. That will give me 79M plus 87N. Right? Let's move this on the left hand side. We'll get 5M is equals to 3N. What do we need to find out? We need to find out ratio of M and N. So that will be 3 by 5. Right? So 3 by 5 is the correct answer in this case. So A is the correct answer. All right. So this was one more question related to average only. All right. Let's move on to our next concept. Okay. So next question is on a geography quiz. Emily and Catherine scored an average, that is arithmetic mean of 80 points. If Catherine and Julia scored an average of 85 points, how many more points did Julia earn than Emily? Okay. So let's solve this question. Okay. So their average score is 80. Catherine and Julia scored 85 as their average, right? And Emily and Catherine scored 80. Okay. So if Emily and Catherine scored 80, so Emily and Catherine scored 80. Right. Okay. So from here, we'll get K plus J. If I move the 2 on right hand side, I'll get K plus J is equals to 170. Here in this case, what we'll get? K plus E is equals to 160. Right? So here we can find out the difference, because what are they asking us to find out? They are asking how many more points did Julia earn than Emily, right? So we'll just subtract it. This gets cancelled. So what we'll get? J minus E is equals to 10. So 10 is the correct answer in this. Okay. So 10 will be the answer. Clear? Let's move on to our next concept. And from the question, we'll learn a new concept. Okay, so the next question is, the average salary of 12 employees at a certain firm is 35,000. If the average salary of 8 of the employees is $40,000, what is the average salary of 4 remaining employees? Okay, so let's try this question. The average salary of 12 employees being 35,000. So solve it. Now 35,000 is for 12 employees, right? Here also we are doing average is sum divided by number, right? So sum will be 8 into 40. How many employees are remaining? 4. So I'm assuming that their average is 8, right? Let's take this on left hand side. 35,000 into 12 is equals to 8 into 40,000 plus 4, right? So can we cancel something out? Yes. 4, this is 2, this is 3. So this is 80,000. This will become 1,05,000 minus 80,000. This is average, so it will be 25,000. 25,000 is the correct answer in this case. Okay, let's move on to our next one. So the next question is, the average weight of 8% increases by 2.5 kg. Okay, when a new person comes in place of the one weighing 65 kg, what might be the weight of new person? Okay, so they are saying average of 8% increases by 2.5 kg. So average 8% increases by 2.5 kg. Now what I am assuming that, initial average, the average of 8 people is X. I'm assuming that the average of 8 people is X. Right. So what are they saying? They are saying that a person comes in place of one of them weighing 65 kg. That means one of the person weighing 65 kg has moved out. Now in total, initially their weight was 8x. Right. Now one of the person weighing 65 kg has moved out, so minus 65. Now a new person comes whose weight is Y. I am assuming that weight of new person I'm assuming that the weight of new person is Y. Okay, so if weight of new person is Y, let's move this 8 on the right hand side, right? If I move this 8 on right hand side, 8x minus 65 plus Y is equals to 8x plus 8 into 2.5 will give me 20. So this gets cancelled. Okay, so minus 65 on the right hand side, the value of Y will be 2. So 85 is the correct answer in this case. Okay, let's move on to our next question. The average or the arithmetic mean of 8 and Q is A. The average of 12 and half Q is B, and the average of 16 and 1 by 3 Q is C. What is the average of A, B, and C in terms of Q? Okay. So now a particular student, firstly, I want you to try this question. Okay. You can pause the video and you can try this question. Okay. Now in this case, a way to solve this question will be, we'll solve it using the basic method, right? But I'll teach you one method in which you can solve this question in very less time, right? What will be that? That is basically assuming value from my side, that is plugin, right? That is entirely a different chapter that will be covered throughout the course, but I'm giving a glimpse of that in this particular question. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll assume that let q be 0. I'm giving a value for q, right? Let q be 0. Now if q is 0, so 8 plus 0 divided by 2 is the value of a. That is, I'll get a as 4. So I've got a as 4. Right. For the second part, what will be that? Average of q and half, 12 and half q is b. Okay, so but this is 0, so I can replace this with 0, right? Divide by 2 is equals to 16, that is b. So 12 by 2 is 6, b is 6. Similarly, what will be c? C can also be found out, that is 16 plus 0 divided by 2 is c. Value of c is 8. Now c is 8. What do we need to find out? We need to find out average of a, b and c. That is a plus b plus c divided by 3. So 4 plus 6 plus 8 divided by 3. 4 plus 6 plus 8 divided by 3. 18 divided by 3 gives me 6. So what is this 6? 6 is my target number. 6 is my target number. What will I do now? I'll put value of q as 0 in the option and see which one gives me 6. Alright. So if I put q as 0, is it giving me 6? So this is my wrong answer. If I put q as 0, is it giving me 6? No. Is this giving me 6? No. Is the last option giving me 6? Yes. This is my correct answer. Right. Now you can check, right, by basic method, how much time will this question consume, and by this method, how easily you are able to solve this question and reach to the correct answer quickly, right? Now, these are the approaches, these are the time-saving approaches that you need to follow in SAT to get to a perfect score of 800 if you're dreaming of getting any score above 1500 in SAT, right? Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Now, in this particular question also, firstly, let's go through this question. The average or the arithmetic score for half of the students in a class on a certain test is 90. The average score for another fourth of the student is 80. If the average score for all of the student is 78, what is the average score for remaining students? Okay. Now, in this case also, when question involves, now this method is basically hidden plugin, right? So in this case, that's also a different chapter of strategies that we'll be covering. But in this question, I'm giving you a glimpse of that. Okay. So the average score for half of the student is, now here we don't know how many students are there, right? One method of solving this question is we can assume the number of students to be X, right? But that particular method might consume a bit of time. So what we'll do, we'll assume the time to be, the number of students to be, let's say 4, right? Now you have to assume the number also in a particular way that will reduce your calculation rather than increasing it, right? Now, the point that I want to make is, why did I take the number of students to be 4? Because it will simplify my calculation. Let's see how. The average score for half of the student is 90. The average score for another fourth is 80. The average score for all the student is 78. Okay. Now all the students, that means 4 students. For 4 students, the average is 78. Right? Okay. Now the average score for another fourth, the average score for half of the student. Now the average score for half of the student is 90. So what will be sum? It will be 180, 90 into 2, 180, right? Another fourth. 4 into 1 by 4 is 1. So this will be 80. How many students are remaining? Only 1. Okay. So in that case, the average and the total score of that student will remain same. So what I can do here, 180 plus 80, that is 270, 270 plus 8, that gives me 78 into 4. Now, one of the smarter ways to play with the options, I'll let you know one more way, right? Now, on the right hand side, what you can see, without even calculating, right? On the right hand side, what you can see that 8 into 4 will give me 2 as the unit digit. That means on the right hand side, my answer will have 2 as unit digit. So on the left hand side also, the unit digit needs to be 2. So here the unit digit is 0. So A will be something that has unit digit 2. And there is only one option that has unit digit 2, that is 52. Right? So look how we have got to the correct answer with just by looking at the unit digits of the options, right? Or you can solve it if the options were such in which the unit digits were same, then you can solve it as well. But the examiner gives options like this, in which you have to use a bit of your brain to get to the answer quickly, right? Here we didn't calculate the whole thing. I just worked out on the unit digit part and got to the correct answer, right? Hope this method would have helped you. Let's move on to our next question. Now, this is a question in which you need to have knowledge of mean, median, mode, and range, right? The examiner has asked question based on that. They are saying a class of 12 students took their first practice test. One of the score was removed, that is 1. These are scores of 12 students. One student has scored 1, the other one has scored 21, 22, 24, 25, right? These are different scores of different 12 students in a class. Okay, now they are saying that one of the score, that was 1, is removed from this data. They are saying so it will impact which one the most, mean, median, mode, and range. Now, if we check median, if I remove 1 also, the median will remain 26. It is not making any difference. Initially also it was 26. Now also it is 26. So it is not my correct answer. Okay. Is it changing my mod? No. Initially also my mod was 26. Now also my mod is 26. Now we are left with mean and range. Now, if we check for range, now this is basically a common sense type of question. Now, if we check range, it will be 33 minus 1. Initially, when 1 was there, so in that case, my range was 32. But when 1 is removed, what will be my new range? It will be 33 minus 21. That is 12. So you can see that there is a difference of 20 in the range. That's a huge difference. But if you remove just a small number, if we compare it to the numbers that are given in the series 1, it won't create that much significant difference in the mean. So in that case, my answer will be range for this particular question. Okay. So for this question, the examiner has tested you in all the concepts. You should know mean, median, mode, and range. And in the SAT also, you will see many questions in which the questions are interlinked. You should know all the concepts related to that, right, to get to the correct answer. So here also, we didn't solve anything. We just observed, right, what was being asked, and we got to the correct answer. Right? Okay. Let's move on to our next question. Okay. A particular series is given in this. Now, for this particular question, I would like you to try this question basically. Okay. You try this question, then I'll solve it. So pause the video, try it, and then you can see the solution. In the sequence shown above, each term after the first term is equals to the preceding term plus the constant k. If average of A2, A3 and A4 is 10, what is average of A1 and A5? Okay. So now we have learned a concept in which the data set were evenly spaced. Now, when the data set is evenly spaced, in that case, the median is the average. So here in this case also, the examiner has indirectly told you that the gap between the numbers is k. Now, if the gap between the number is k, the median will be average. So average of A2, A3 and A4 is 10. That means the value of A3 is 10. Directly they have given that A3 is 10, right? So if A3 is 10 and they are asking you to find out average of A1 and A5, that means A1 plus A5 divided by 2. Now in that particular case, you can also, you would have seen that the average is also equals to first term plus last term divided by 2. Right. Now, if I write this series A1, A2, A3, A4, A5. Okay. Now, what can I say for this case? Average is A3 because A3 is the middle number, and average is also equals to first term plus last term divided by 2. That is A1 plus A5 divided by 2. Right. So, can I equate both of them? Yes, you can, of course, because both of them are average. So A1 plus A5 divided by 2 is equals to A3, right? So I can say that this is equals to A3, and we have already found out that what is A3? A3 is equals to 10. So 10 is the correct answer. Now in this case, there is no need of writing anything. Now I have written this to explain it to you. Now these concepts you already know, so what you can directly do, here you can see that value of A3 is 10. Now average of A1 and A5 will also be A3. My answer is directly 10. Now there was no need of writing anything in this particular question, right? Okay, so the shorter way or the shorter concept that we derived from the basic is helping us now to solve question within seconds, right? Okay, let's move on to our next question. Okay, so the next question is, there are 5 consecutive odd integers A, B, C, D, E. The average of A and C is 511. Find the sum of smallest and largest number of the series. Okay, now A and C is 511. So A and C is 511. That means the value of B is 511. So if B is 511 and they are consecutive odd numbers, so if A, B, now if they are consecutive odd numbers, then also the gap between the number is same, that is 2, right? So A, B, C, D, E. Value of B is 511. So this is 509, 513, 515, 517. So what is the sum of smallest and largest number? Simply 509 and 517. 509 plus 517, that will give me 1026. So 1026 is the correct answer for this particular question. So here also the shorter way helped in solving this question. Okay, let's move on to our next question. Okay, now here also this is a question that involves the knowledge of average, median and range, all of them, right? The question is, the average of 5 numbers n, n minus 3, 2n plus 1, 3n minus 4, 5n plus 10 is 8. Which of the following is true? We need to find this out. Okay, so firstly, n, n minus 3, 2n plus 1. Okay, n plus n minus 3 plus 2n plus 1 plus 3n minus 4, 5n plus 10 divided by 5 will be equal to 8, right? So n plus 1, n is 2n, 4n, then 7n, 12n. Minus 3 plus 1 minus 2 minus 6 plus 4. If I shift this here, it will be 40. So let's move this 4 here. So 36, value of n will be 3. So value of n is 3. So if I substitute these values, and you have to keep in mind that you have to arrange that in a particular order. N is 3, then we have 0, then we have 2 into 3, 7, then we have 5, and then we have 5 into 3, 15, 25. Let's arrange this in a particular order: 0, 3, 5, 7, 25. This is the series that we get. Okay. Now what do we need to find out? We need to find out what is median. What will be median? Median will be 5. What will be range? Highest minus lowest, that is 25. So B is the correct answer. That, right? B is the correct answer for this particular question. Okay. Let's move on to last question of this session. Okay. So you can go through this question. A table is given to you in which the years are given and number of countries are given. In 2012, there are 27 nations in European Union as shown in the table above. Based on the table, what is the median entry for the 27 countries? Okay. Now, this is a particular question in which I was saying now it is not possible in the exam time that you write all the years and then find out the middle value, right? So what you have to do, you have to firstly find out the position of median. Now, what is position of median here? Position of median, the formula is n plus 1 divided by 2. That's the formula to find out position of median. So how many numbers are there? 27. 27 plus 1 divided by 2. That is 28 divided by 2, 14. So 14th term is the median. Now 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. 12, 15. Okay. So till here, there are 12 terms. The 14th term will lie in this year only. Right. So 1995 is the correct answer for this particular question. Right. So I hope that you would have realized the importance of this formula in this particular question, right? Where the number of elements were considerably on the higher side, right? That is 27 number of elements were given. So we found out the value by using the formula, that is n plus 1 divided by 2, and we got to our correct answer, right? So I hope that this session would have helped you in clearing all the concept related to the stats part of SAT Maths. That is, we learned the basic concepts related to average, that is arithmetic mean, median, mod, and range, right? And we learned many shorter approaches to get to the correct answer as well, right? That will help you in solving the question in less time, right? So at the end, I only want to say that with the basic approach, you need to know shorter approaches as well. For many particular questions, it will do wonders for you to get to the correct answer in very less amount of time, right? It might give you time to revise in the exam as well, whether you have done all the questions correctly or not, right? And it will help you in solving the paper in less amount of time, and it will give an assurity that you will reach your dream score, that is a perfect 800 for SAT Maths, right? So thank you.